Welcome to the Embrace Strength podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Crocker. I am an experienced trainer and active life professional. I work with people who are struggling with nagging pain to get back to the activities they love without fear of re-injury. This podcast is here to educate and provide value to you on all things health, fitness, staying active, and personal development. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to the pod. Today, I'm going to be talking about how bad movement and not heavy weights is what leads to injury. And now, I know that you are probably a coach listening to this, or even if you are not a coach, this is actually a good episode for you, because I feel like sometimes this narrative can be thrown around that heavy weights leads to injury, or some other bullshit about how lifting weights is too dangerous. It's just not true. Actually, bad movement is what leads to injury. And what I mean by bad movement is your movement pattern. So like your client doing a squat or a deadlift, and your client might even say like, oh, I'm kind of afraid to do this movement, like I don't want to get hurt, and it's important for you as the coach to know that if their movement pattern is strong, then they're not going to hurt themselves. But if it is shaky and they don't feel stable and they're hesitating and they're not confident and they are lifting heavy weight, then they might tweak something. So it's important for you to know that if you have a client who is like shaky, underneath weight, they're not confident in their movement patterns, I'm here to tell you that it is worth the time to spend on fixing their foundation. And when I say foundation of movement, I mean like if you have a client whose squat looks like shit and you've tried like shifting it to a goblet squat or a split squat and there's still something just like off about it, or they're not feeling it in the right places, you need to take the extra time to look into why it's happening. Because here's the thing, I've been a coach for 12 years and I will tell you that if somebody is not feeling a movement in the right places, there's a deeper reason why. And it is usually because of a mobility issue, and for whatever reason other muscles are compensating, which is leading them to not feel a movement in the right places. And so I know that a lot of coaches think that, oh, mobility work is not worth the time, or that's not my job, or whatever. And I'm here to tell you it is 100% your job to help your clients with this, because if you don't, then they're not going to see the results that they hired you for. And I know that you want your clients to see better results, and I know that you want to help them to the best of your ability. And so a big key to that puzzle is helping your client feel in control of their movement, making sure they have a strong foundation. And it's all about how their body moves under the weight. And so I just wanted to share that little blurb with you guys today, because I think it is a narrative that a lot of coaches hear or deal with their clients. And I also wanted to give you a tip for something that is deadlift specific. Now, I know if you're a coach listening to this that you probably have clients who don't lift with barbells. You might have some clients who lift with barbells, but some clients who lift with dumbbells. A lot of people work out from home, and using your dumbbells is something that a lot of people do. So anyways, I wanted to talk to you about deadlifts. No matter what variation your client is doing with their deadlift, dumbbell, barbell, whatever, if your client is not able to feel the deadlift in the right places, here's a quick test that you can do. And so I know that you probably know this, but when someone's doing a deadlift, they should feel it in their glutes and in their hamstrings. And something common that can come up is a client feeling a deadlift in only their hamstrings, or maybe their hamstrings and their quads, or maybe they're like just quads. And you're like, okay, well shit, what do I do with that? Here's a quick test that you can do with that to kind of give you some more information into what might really be going on. So if you have a client that fits that bill, listen up. You are going to have them sit in a 90-90 position on the floor. And what I mean by that is they're sitting on the floor. One leg is bent in front of them and one leg is bent behind them, right? That 90-90 position. You're going to get them in that position and you're going to take a look at it. What does it look like? Are they sitting up? Are they leaning over? Are they able to get their knees, their front knee on the ground? Is their back butt cheek on the ground? All right, these are things to kind of check for. If their back butt cheek is off the ground, there's space. And if they're like leaning over a lot and they're like, man, I really feel this in the front of my hip, then that might be giving you a clue into that their glutes are not lengthening. I see this so much. It's probably one of the most common things I see with people who struggle with deadlifts is that their glutes are not lengthening like they should be. And because they're not lengthening like they should be, other muscles are taking over and they're just not feeling the movement in the right places. So something that you can implement for this is, if that's true for your client, is you can give them some hip internal rotation exercises. Okay, now you can do a YouTube search for this. You could get my movement library. I have some things for this, but they need to be doing some hip internal rotation exercises if that back butt cheek is not on the ground. They're feeling it in their hip. And in addition to that, you're going to have to rebuild their deadlift. And by rebuild, what I mean by that is stripping down the weight and having them do like a single leg RDL and work on troubleshooting that positioning to where they feel that hinge pattern in their glute. It's going to take some time, it's going to take some troubleshooting, but those are a couple of things you can look at with something like this. So if I'm speaking to you right here and you resonate with a client who can't feel their glutes in a deadlift, go and try that and let me know what you found. This is exactly the type of stuff that I teach coaches inside of my mentorship and my group programs and all of that. And yeah, if you resonate with this, you should definitely be in my world. Follow me on Instagram, send me a DM if this was helpful, and I'll talk to you next time.